Did you know that there are many commandments in the Bible? From the 10 commandments given to Moses to the laws in the Old Testament, God has always given guidance to his people about how to live rightly. But among all these instructions, there is one commandment that many Christians see as the most important, the ultimate commandment given by Jesus himself. This command comes from the night before Jesus was crucified, during the Last Supper with his disciples. In John 13:34-35, Jesus says, "A new commandment I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." This was spoken by Jesus Christ, and it was said to his disciples, the men who had walked with him, learned from him, and were about to witness his death. But this command was never meant just for them alone. It was meant for all who would follow Jesus after them, including us today. What this verse means. When Jesus says, "Love one another as I have loved you," he is not talking about ordinary love. He is talking about a selfless, sacrificial, patient, and forgiving love. Notice something important. Jesus did not say, "Love only people who believe like you." He did not say, "Love only your friends." He did not say, "Love only people who treat you well." Instead, his love was meant to reach everyone. Yes, he spoke these words to his disciples, but the way of love he taught was meant to shape how Christians treat all people, not just other Christians. Jesus loved the poor, the sinners, the outcasts, the tax collectors, the sick, the broken, and even those who rejected him. So when he says, "Love one another," he is inviting us into a love that crosses boundaries, race, culture, status, background, and even personal differences. How this commandment affects us today. This commandment should change how we live every single day. It affects how we speak to others, treat strangers, respond to conflict, forgive those who hurt us, handle anger and frustration. If we truly take Jesus' command seriously, we cannot live with hatred in our hearts, gossip on our tongues, or indifference toward people in need. And here is something very important. We cannot pick and choose which commandments we like. We cannot say, "I'll follow the ones that are easy. I'll obey the ones that make sense to me. I'll skip the ones that are uncomfortable." Following Jesus means committing to all his teachings, not just the ones that fit our lifestyle. But here is the beautiful truth. If you truly obey this one command, to love like Jesus, all the others become easier. If you love others, you won't lie to them. You won't steal from them. You won't cheat them. You won't betray them. You won't wish harm on them. Love becomes the foundation of everything. That is why this commandment is so powerful. It shapes our character, our choices, and our relationships. How Jesus showed this love. Jesus did not just talk about love, he lived it. Think about what he endured. He was betrayed by one of his closest followers, falsely accused, mocked and ridiculed, spit on, beaten, crowned with thorns, nailed to a cross. He suffered even though he had done nothing wrong. And yet, in the midst of his pain, what did he do? In Luke 23:34, while hanging on the cross, Jesus prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." He did not curse his enemies. He did not call for revenge. He did not wish destruction upon them. Instead, he asked God to forgive the very people who were killing him. That is the depth of his love. When Jesus tells us to love one another as I have loved you, he is calling us to that same kind of heart, one that can forgive even when deeply hurt. Compared to what Jesus endured, many of our daily struggles are much lighter. A disagreement, someone being rude, feeling ignored, being misunderstood, facing criticism. These things can hurt, but they are not even close to what Jesus suffered. And knowing what he went through makes his command feel less impossible and more meaningful. If he could love through that kind of pain, then surely we can learn to love in our everyday lives. What kind of love is Jesus talking about? The love Jesus is describing is not just romantic love between a man and a woman. It is not just the love between family members. It is a spiritual, brotherly, Christ-centered love. It is loving your brothers and sisters in Christ, caring for fellow believers, but also seeing every human being as someone created by God. When you meet a stranger, Jesus calls you to see them not as just another person, but as someone who could also be your sibling in Christ. Even if they don't yet know Jesus, they are still loved by him, and that should shape how we treat them. This means being kind to strangers, showing compassion to those in need, listening instead of judging, helping instead of ignoring. Loving like Jesus means seeing people through his eyes, not our own prejudices. Why this commandment is so important. Jesus did not call this commandment optional. He called it new, and he made it central to what it means to follow him. In fact, he said that the way people recognize true Christians is by their love, not by how much Bible they know, how religious they look, how many rules they follow, but by how they love others. That means if someone claims to follow Jesus but lives with hatred, cruelty, or indifference, their actions contradict their faith. True disciples of Christ are marked by love. On the night before his death, Jesus gave his followers a new command to love one another as he loved us. This was his heart for his people before the cross. But after his resurrection, Jesus gathered his disciples one last time before returning to heaven and gave them one final mission that would change the world forever. In our next video, we will explore that moment, the Great Commission.